thought that I would talk about my spiritual journey. Everybody has a way different journey. So mine started when I was about 8. I was able to start hearing, or I was hearing voices. Not super clear, but I knew that I was hearing something. We would go to my grandparents' house every Sunday for dinner, spend some time there. It was my favorite time of the week. I'd be with my grandfather. We'd go in his rose garden, and he called me his sunshine. He called me his lighthouse. He doted on me. I was the first granddaughter, the first grandchild, and I loved him so, so much. So this Sunday, this one particular Sunday when we were going there, I was able to hear them really, really clearly, and they said, make sure that you give your grandfather a really, really tight hug. This is going to be the last time you're going to see him. He's going to be passing away. It's not okay with that. So we went to leave my grandparents' house, and my parents peeled me off of my grandfather. Knowing that it was the last time I was going to see him, I just thought if I held him tight enough that he would not be able to go anywhere. My parents put me in the car, and they were just not really understanding what was going on. They're like, why are you acting up like this? Why are you crying? What's happening? And I said that the voices said that Grandpa was going to be dying, and they just kind of giggled, and they said, he's not even old. It's fine. You'll see him next week. Just relax. So they lived in Queens, and we lived on Long Island, and the small journey from the city to Long Island was maybe an hour and a half. By the time we got home, this was long before cell phones. The phone was ringing. We walked in the door. My dad answered the phone, and he just held it there, and he just turned white, and tears started rolling down his eyes, and I knew already. He had passed away. It was a major heart attack. It was super quick. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody expected it. And my parents were not okay with that. Did not get to go to the funeral. And I was kind of in lockdown for a little bit. So I did tell them that, because right after my grandfather passed away, I was able to hear the voices really clearly. I could hear sentences, and I could hear them talking to me. I could hear them sometimes as if they were outside, sometimes as if they were sitting right next to me. And I could hear my grandfather telling me that it was okay, and that he was still with me. He was always going to be with me. Yeah, I knew it was him. It was his voice. It was him calling me the pet names that he called me, and I felt comforted by that. I grieved. I went about, being a child, and I would go to the schoolyard and talk to my friends. Hey, Sally told me such and such. Well, Sally wasn't talking to them. Sally was only talking to me. So I quickly became the weird kid, and it quickly escalated to teachers being involved and counselors being involved. My parents sent me to Puerto Rico to my Latin grandmother, who is extremely religious, and hoped that she would be able to get this devil out of me and fix me. He's still there. It's not a devil. So I came back, and about age 11 was when I could actually feel them, not just hear them. I could feel them enter the room. I could feel them sit down on the bed with me. Sometimes I could see them, which was really scary. Went to my parents, told them what was going on, and then went from doctor to doctor at that point. Lots of doctors. At age 13, a few days into being age 13, my parents took me on a trip. I thought we were going to see a new doctor, and I was so excited. Yay, I get to be in the car with my parents by myself. We drove to Sagamore Psychiatric Center in Dix Hills, New York. They left me there. So I remember walking through the doors and I remember them closing. I remember looking through the plexiglass and watching my parents as they walked away with no hug, no kiss goodbye, no wave. They didn't even look back. It was really difficult for me. I had to kind of be okay with that, and it took me a long time to be okay with that. As a parent, I just couldn't imagine doing that to my child, even if I knew they really needed the help. That was a scary place to be. So I got there, and quickly after arriving, everything went dark. I was on so much medication. They thought I was schizophrenic. And I was numb. So I learned from the other people that were there that were older than me, because there wasn't a lot of people, a lot of children that were 13, how to play the system, how to pretend that I was okay, so that I could get out. And I did. And so I was there 8 months, got out, and I did exactly what I learned. Don't say anything. Don't share. It doesn't matter if it's real or not real. Don't tell anybody. So I didn't say I was still hearing things. Didn't say I was still seeing things. I just was quiet. And I waited. I waited. I wanted out of that house so quickly and so badly, but I waited. And then at age 18, I met my husband and we got married, and I got to leave that house. He knew that there was things going on. He witnessed things going on. And he kept saying that my house was haunted. And I said, no, it's not haunted. Because it wasn't just in the house. It was wherever I went. So he kind of let me be okay with that. And so for a while, I would do rescue and transition. So rescue and transition, something I just kind of did organically or just innately. Spirit would come to me. They were lost, they were confused, and I would usher them into the light. I lit lots of white candles. I saged out the house. I would walk them to the light where I thought the light was. I would bring people down to help, and I didn't even know it was doing anything, but I felt better. And if you feel better, that's enough. So I did that for a really long time and didn't really have any training or anything, just did it. Shortly after having kids, kind of put everything in the box. It's very, very hard to do rescue and transition of spirits, and you get wiped out emotionally and physically, and you're taking a nap. Well, you can't do that when you have 3 toddlers. It's just not really gonna happen. So I put it in the box for a really, really long time. Once in a while, a strong one would come through, and I would usher them where they needed to go. My kids knew them as Mookies, so I still call them that. That's not what I call my spiritual team. That's what I call the lost spirits or confused spirits that show up. I call them Mookie. I don't know how I came up with the name. It was something so the children wouldn't be scared or nervous, and it just kind of stuck. I said one day, oh, those are just Mookies. Don't worry about it. They still call them Mookies. They're all Mookies, baby. So I had no idea that my intuition was a gift. I had it from real little. I just assumed everybody was able to read other people. Had no idea. So I did very well in business, did very well with my jobs, because I was able to read people and know their feelings and what they were thinking probably before they did. A lot of people just are not very in tune with their higher self. So that was something that I was gifted with. So they got really strong again. I had put them away in a box for quite some time, and when I was getting separated from my husband. It was a hard time. It was 28 years, and I was sad. Did I have depression? Of course. Who would not have depression? Did I have mental health issues? I don't know. They do exist. Do I think that I have it? Sure. Do I think that there was other things going on as well? Of course. Looking back now, I can see that, but at the time, I really believed what everybody was saying, that I was just damaged, broken, and defective. And I lived my life really, really believing that I was defective and broken. That's a terrible, terrible thing to do to somebody, to a child. Sorry. So it took a really, really long time for me to be okay with myself, and thought, even if I am crazy, that's okay. It's still okay if you're crazy. And I loved myself, and I loved my children, and I lived my life. So when the separation happened, I was fearful and sad, and Spirit came to comfort me, but I did not know that that's what they were doing. I was terrified. They were opening and closing sliding glass doors that were locked. They would open up the front door that was locked every day. I would lock it at night. Sometime during the night it would open up. I got to the point where I was so OCD, I'd get up 2-3 times a night just to check the door, and it would always be unlocked and wide open. And we lived on a really busy road. It was me, and I still had 2 teenagers at home, and that was terrifying to me. I did everything that I knew to do. I saged the house. I said blessings. I lit candles, multiple candles, and it was still happening. So I did the only thing that I knew to do. I went to my parents because I thought they can help me, and they could not. So once again, I was put into a hospital, and I was medicated for a really, really long period of time. Were those things going on? They were. My teenagers were witnessing it. I had a friend over on the couch as a doorknob. It was a lever. It went down, the door opened, and it went back up, and the door closed. And my daughter was on the bed, and she looked at us. We looked at her from the couch. And he said, "Did you see that?" And I said, "I didn't see anything." My daughter said she didn't see anything. Because who's going to admit that? So it was actually happening. But my parents really convinced me that I was having a mental breakdown, and that I needed to go in and get lots of medication because I was schizophrenic again. So I did. And I was on lots of medication again, and I lost another year of my life. Then I started slowly weaning myself off of the medication until I wasn't on any medication. And I didn't even tell anybody that I wasn't, because even when I said I was cutting my medication in half, people were like horrified and frightened, as if I was a mass killer. So I think I was off all of my medication for a year before I said anything. So off my medication, and I'm a year into my new life that I took control over, and I started finding more happiness and joy in everything and everyone. And it was kind of organic as well. I mean, I was always a bright light. I was always super bright and shiny, but inside it was a little bit different. There was just doing a lot of shadow work, healing the inner child, facing things that I never wanted to face, but it was time to face. And serendipity, how things happen, things were just put in my path. So I had a friend, and she said, "We're going to a psychic fair." Cool, road trip. So we go to this psychic fair, and I decide I'm going to do an angel card reading because it was the cheapest. I'm not even going to lie about that. And so we do this reading, and she says, there's this little lady jumping up and down in the corner with dark hair. She's touching me and she won't stop. And she said, do you happen to know this lady? And we said at the same time, I said, Joanne, and she said, Joanne. And I said, yes, I do know her. She was someone that in life was very good to me and motherly to me. She lived across the street from me and was there for a short time, maybe, I'm going to say maybe a year and a half, 2 years. She was a Reiki healer and medium and spiritual, and was Native American, had all kinds of special gifts. She knew that I had the gift and told me so, and would test me with little things. She'd put a piece of paper in an envelope and she'd say, what's in that envelope? It's a shape, what's in there? And I would like hold it and I'd say, I don't know. A circle. No. A triangle. No. A circle. I don't know. Circle or triangle. And she'd open up and she'd giggle and she'd go, it's a triangle in a circle. And she's like, you see, told you got it. And we were going to like work on this. She was going to teach me how to use this. It wasn't anything that was bad. It was a gift. But I didn't have enough time. She passed away really quickly. It was from 1 minute to next of a brain aneurysm. And I was crushed because she was my biggest cheerleader once again. My biggest cheerleader taken from me. So I would sit in the backyard and I would talk to her all the time, not even knowing she could hear me. I was just so lonely. So when she came through in the reading and she said, I didn't forget you. I am still going to teach you to use your powers. I'm still going to teach you to use your gifts. This is important. I didn't abandon you. And I thought, what the hell? How is she going to help me from the other side? But she said she was going to. And I said, great. I left that reading and I realized that she could hear me. And I started talking to her again. Because I want to say there's quite a few years that I just stopped talking to her. Life got busy. And I felt really guilty when she came through and she said that she hadn't forgotten me. And I cried because I said I had forgotten her. Not that I had forgotten her, but I stopped talking to her. And so I started talking to her again as if she was sitting next to me in the car or on the couch, or while I was sitting outside. I would just generally just talk with her. And I said, I'm so thankful that you're with me. I'm so happy that you're my guardian angel and that you're guiding me and you're helping me. Not really knowing that she really was. So that started happening and things started getting easier in life. I would just start listening to my intuition. I'd say, hey, Joanne, what should I do with this? And I just like had a knowing, and I'd say, I'd do whatever it was, and I go, oh my God, it was right. So we go for another psychic fair a few months later, and I see I'm doing a tarot reading, and I see there's a sign-up sheet to do a medium class, and I looked at it, and I put my name on it without even looking. I just wrote my name down, and then I went, I'm not a medium. I don't have that. Why would I sign up for that class? We laughed, and I want to say the entire ride home, I kept telling my friend, I'm not a medium. I don't know why I signed up for this class. This is really ridiculous. I don't know why I signed up. And she just giggled. And then I started taking the class. And the first 2 classes, stuff came up. Work was busy. Another thing came up. And so I missed the first 2 classes. And I almost just walked away. But something kept telling me, no, I needed to take it. So then by the 3rd class, I was there. I was all in. And I was so thankful because I needed to be there more than I ever would have imagined. I learned so much how to protect myself, so much how to listen to my intuition, how to call my angels, how to call my guides about the feelings. So let me tell you a little bit about my class. So the medium class was on a computer. It was a Zoom class, and I did not really know how that was going to work. But it seemed like every class I got more and more confident, and skills that I didn't even know that I had started appearing, or maybe I just didn't know how to use them properly. I'm not really sure. I learned about ethics because that's really important. There's a lot of ethics and a lot of people do things differently. I feel like we were on the same wavelength, and she taught me life lessons that she learned the hard way, so I didn't have to. So the class went well, and I became friendly with a few of the people from the class. One of them owns a metaphysical shop, and that's where I do my readings now. So everything works out for a reason. I was doing also a Reiki healing that same time that I signed up for the medium classes, and she kept saying, "Oh my God, you have such a great aura, oh blah, blah, blah. And you really should do more. Have you looked into it?" And I was just like, what is she saying? And then she was in the class with me, and it was great. So I made friends. I learned ethics, which was really important. I learned how to protect myself. I learned how to enhance my skills. And then I had to take the test. And I wasn't really sure I wanted to take the test. And I thought, I think I don't need a piece of paper to tell me that I have this gift. And I was dead set on I was not going to take the test. I was not going to take the written or the verbal part of the test. I didn't need it. And then I got jealous. So 2 other people took the written part. They didn't take the other half of it, the physical part where you had to do a reading and a rescue and transition. And I thought, why am I jealous? So I took the test, and then I passed. And I feel like that was validation for all of these years telling me that I was crazy. The piece of paper means nothing to anybody else in the world, but it means something to me. It means it's true. For me, it means it. Sorry.